Marhaba, my name is Sheba and welcome to my channel. This is See Like Sheba. All right, so, I've been having such amazing thoughts and I just have to get them out. Okay, so, I've been doing so much reflecting on, my powers. I've been in this cocoon period. I discovered all of these magic powers I have. I'm a superhero, I'm a fairy, and I am, learning my power right now. And I was reflecting on how, like, one of my powers is I can turn mountains into molehills. That's the name of the title of this thing is, You Turn Mountains into Molehills and Caterpillars into Butterflies. Ooh! And yeah, those are just two aspects of my magic superpowers. And so I want to explore them a little bit. And I think if this video resonated with you, you probably also have these powers. So yeah. Okay. So turning mountains into molehills, of course, we're familiar with the typical usage of that like kind of concept, which is someone who has made a mountain out of a molehill, right? So like a molehill is like something that's like not important, not a big deal, and someone has turned it into a mountain, has turned it into a big deal. And so like, what if we have the power to do the opposite? What if you have the power to turn a mountain into a molehill? And I think that's what I do. Like, okay, so if we think of a mountain as like things that are scary or hard or painful, and something that like if we face it, then we are going to either like we're going to find that it's insurmountable, like we can't do it, or we're going to like die trying, or like, incur great losses trying to face this mountain. Okay. And so I'm really good at like when someone has a problem, an issue, an insecurity, a fear, I'm good at just reframing it and turning it into a molehill, something that's not so important. So when someone thinks they have this big mountain of an obstacle that's in their way, I'm like, hey, actually just turn around. Like you're just looking at it from the wrong perspective. If you look at it from this perspective, it's actually just a molehill. It's not an obstacle at all. It's something that's very easy to surmount. Oh yeah, surmount has mountain in it. Right. And so I was thinking about how, my neighbor had me release all of these. Hello, everyone. Hi. My neighbor had invited me to release these butterflies with her. And it got me thinking about, the metamorphosis process. And so one thing I learned is that like you can spend a caterpillar could spend their entire life as a caterpillar. You don't have to go through the metamorphosis process to become a butterfly. Apparently, the only purpose of becoming a butterfly is for them to reproduce. Fun fact, the more you know. And so, if they like want to be more caterpillars and more butterflies, then the caterpillar has to decide and has to successfully complete the metamorphosis into a butterfly. So they have to decide to go into a cocoon, okay? And so I was thinking about how, like, I saw how all of these butterflies in the cocoon, and there were ones that were just about to hatch. And while I was there, the first one hatched, and they came out of the cocoon, and they were the only one. And I was thinking about how that must be such a disorienting thing for a butterfly, maybe, or for any species, to have gone through this breakdown, this complete metamorphosis, and to come out in a completely new environment, not where you started. You look completely different. It's quiet. Like, you're around all these other like casings and you're like, probably like, what the heck is going on? Okay. So I think as humans, we can resonate with that idea of like waking up and being like, where am I? What's going on? But I wonder if maybe after the initial kind of shock of, waking up, being the first one in the brood to awaken, or to hatch, like, I don't know if you know someone who used to have a deviated septum, like they would snore or something, and then they get surgery on it and they can finally breathe right because their nose passageways are clear. And so they can finally get oxygen to their brain. They can breathe and they can finally see and perceive and experience things the way they're supposed to, the way they're designed to, before the deviation. And so like, what if when you become a butterfly, you burst out and at first you're a little confused and then you feel like exhilarated because you're like, oh my gosh, I knew there was more out there. When I was a caterpillar, everybody was like, no, this is pretty much it. All you can do as a caterpillar, you can just climb to the top of a really high tree if you want. We've got all the food we need. There's nothing else. There's nothing more. But some caterpillars are just like, I know there's something more. I know this caterpillar body is too limiting for me. Yes, I can still get all the food I need. I'm still surrounded by my fun caterpillar family, all my caterpillar, parents and my siblings and my nieces and nephews. And still there's something more. I know it. Even if all my other caterpillar friends are like, no, babe, this is it. You can like just kind of be a caterpillar. But some of those, caterpillars have to decide to take on the scariness of the unknown of transformation. What if the caterpillars don't know that they're going to end up being butterflies? What if the butterflies aren't going back to the caterpillars to tell them like, hey, I used to be you, babe. I used to be a caterpillar. Okay. So anyway, I think that's just like an ability to, so like, even the idea of approaching being the first one in a brood of butterflies to hatch and recognizing that that's, could be very scary, but also it can be really exciting and exhilarating. And maybe that's when you're really like, this is who I've always meant to be. I knew I could fly. I knew there was more. I just couldn't see it from my vantage point. I didn't have the proper equipment to be able to perceive it, but I knew it. And so then they hatch and they're like, yes, I knew it. I've done it. So it's like an exhilarating feeling. And I think as humans, sometimes we're taught to fear the unknown. We're taught to fear like our next transition. And so we're taught to just be happy to be caterpillars all our dang lives. And we're like, look how high you can climb the highest trees as a caterpillar. And you can, I don't know, do caterpillar stuff. Like, what's wrong with being a caterpillar? And there is nothing inherently wrong with being a caterpillar. But it's also nature for a caterpillar to continue to evolve. And so if that's true for caterpillars, it's probably also true for humans. But we're kind of taught to just stay in this general human form. Like our transition is just maybe just sexual maturity. And then we pick an age where you're an adult and that's it. And I don't think so, babe. I think you have to then choose to continue your metamorphosis. You have to choose to go back into a cocoon, a period of isolation where you can't be around your old environment. People have to be extra delicate with you while you are changing, while you are developing your new powers. And so I think a lot of us, we're taught to just be afraid of that and to fear that it's going to be so painful that like, no, let me just go back. Being a caterpillar was great. Let me just go back and do that. Okay. So I think I'm someone who is very good at alleviating the fear of transformation and of change, of shadow, of mountains. So again, mountains, things that we're taught are scary or hard or painful. And if we face them, we're going to find that it's insurmountable, or we're going to like die trying. It's good. We're going to incur so many losses that, you know, we shouldn't even face it. And so I'm good at helping us face those shadows. I do it with myself, you know, facing the mountains of shame, of the unknown, of speaking up, of like, you know, standing up in your workplace, being vulnerable on the internet, or not on the internet, but like with a partner. These are things I'm like really good at, like confronting and demystifying. Like when someone has a person they know who's died, I'm like, I think we're taught to kind of be like, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And so I'm very good at it. I'm very good at like framing it, you know, reframing it in a way that is empowering. Like I had a friend whose dad died, and they weren't very close, but, you know, his dad still died. And I was like, that's the start of many hero origin stories. You have to become an orphan first. Your parent has to die. So congratulations. You just took the first step to being a hero. Like this is the first step in your hero story. So what's the next step? I'm good at taking things like fear or insecurity or jealousy and seeing it differently and using it. And like, whereas like, you know, we're taught to think of things like that as things that are going to stop us and things that we have to use our energy hiding and suppressing. I'm good at like using that and transforming it, alchemizing it into something that's powerful and profound and helpful to you. Oh, you thought your fear was holding you back? No, babe. Your fear is just your emotional support dog. Your fear is along with you. You're not with the fear. The fear comes along with you. It's your oldest friend. It's just there to protect you. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to succumb to what the fear wants. You can just take it with you and still do stuff, even if you're scared. How powerful, right? And you probably have that ability too. And so if you know, need permission, if you need reassurance that, you know, sitting more with these talents is a thing you should do, then I would like to give you that permission. I would like to reassure you of that. You absolutely should look into it. Okay, so yeah, I'm good at demystifying the shadow. And, you know, also my presence, just me being me, triggers people, catalyzes people, transforms them. Like it catalyzes people into transformation, even if they don't want to. And I think people even kind of know that. And so they, like, if they're not ready, willing, capable, whatever, of doing a transformation, of changing, of evolving, they're going to be repelled by me. They're not going to be able to receive me. They're going to want to like stay away from me because just my presence is one that sparks transformation. So another one of my powers is my ability to, what did I say? Oh, transform caterpillars into butterflies. My power is to spark people into their evolution, their ascension, their transformation, their next level. And yeah, inspiring them to activate their powers, like just, you know, encouraging them that like you're powerful and there's more. You can do more. You're safe to do more, to be more than you've ever been, than anyone in your family has ever been. You're safe to be all of that and more. Ooh, this is episode number 144. That's like, you know, if you know, you know. That's a auspicious number for the divine. Okay, anyway. So yeah, one of my powers is like helping people navigate through initiations. So reframing death, uncertainty, fear, shame, etc. And so that's like another way that I turn mountains into molehills. A lot of times we've been told this story that metamorphosis, transformation, evolution is this scary, hard, painful thing. And I'm like, it's really not. It's not more painful than, the pain of a tattoo or the pain of going to work out your muscles. And I use those examples because those are times where we intentionally take on something we know will be painful because we're going to get something more valuable as a result of that. So the pain, the end result is worth the pain. And that's how I am with like evolution for people. I'm like, yeah, of course, it's going to be painful to go into a cocoon, be away from people, and then break down completely in order to grow wings and all these other things. Yeah, it's going to be painful, but oh my gosh, the benefit, the value that we're going to get from being butterflies, it's going to be so worth the pain. Sometimes you'll see, women who have given birth, they're like, oh my God, it was so painful, but it was worth it because I got this amazing human out of it. And so literally, like the evolution, the transformation, the ascension that I'm trying to encourage and that I kind of naturally spark in the people who are supposed to, go through the metamorphosis, it's way less painful than childbirth, babe. One of humans' power is we have the ability to self-alchemize. We can transform our feelings, our emotions, our desires, our imagination, the things we imagine, into something profound, into something real, into something tangible, into something valuable. And we discover how to do that if we allow ourselves to go into the metamorphosis, if we allow ourselves to become butterflies. We're just going to discover so many powers. It's going to be wild. But you don't have to do it. There's plenty of caterpillars. You can have a long, happy caterpillar life with plenty of other caterpillars. And that's fine. But it's also fine if you want to be a butterfly, babe. If you're meant to be a butterfly too. Because like for me, it's not even like, oh, I could be a caterpillar. I literally couldn't. I am too expansive. I am too powerful. I have too much power that I just couldn't be contained by a caterpillar's vessel. Okay? So, transform all of these metaphors and analogies into the human spiritual evolution as you need to. Okay? All right. Anyway, I have another topic that's related to this, but I want to get to, and so I'm going to talk about it in another episode. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you, resonated with this, give me a caterpillar emoji, give me a butterfly emoji, and affirm it in the comments if this is you. I turn mountains into molehills. Mountains don't stand a chance around me. All right. So anyway, bring your forehead up against the screen. Okay. I love you. And this is all made up. All right. And you have the power of metamorphosis, babe. You turn mountains into molehills. You turn caterpillars into butterflies. Oh my effing God. That is powerful, babes. That is so freaking powerful. So I love that. Okay. What are these people saying? Oh my gosh, I look great. What hair products do you use? Nothing. It's just natural. I know. I wake up like this. Isn't that amazing? Got these faux locks and I just wake up like this. So great genes and I'm right with the Lord. Are you a transformer? Yes. Hello, Alicia. Hi. And my God, they look amazing. You're right. I do. And I like the non-binary kind of pronoun. Thank you for not assuming. And you're right. I'm like an ocean. I transcend male, female, she, he, they. Yeah. Thank you. They do look amazing. All right. Let me get up out of here. I love you guys. I'll talk to you very soon. Salam, and yalla bye, babies.